Down at Peterson Park in the west of Scotland's second city, these lads are togging out to play one of the world's oldest sports. It's football, but not as you know it. With nearly 2,000 years of history behind it, Gaelic football has flown far beyond the shores of Ireland where it was devised, and found its way to Glasgow, in the form of Glasgow Gaels, one of the city's two Gaelic football teams. Though relying on a largely Irish contingent, the Gaels have an open door policy, welcoming anyone who wants to play or just keep fit in a relaxed environment. Tony and Davey are two Scots that have took advantage of such an open door policy and are enjoying life with the Gaels.
I've been watching the game for 20 years, Gaelic football. My wife's from Kerry in Ireland, and that's how I get into the game. As I say, I'm 41 years of age, but I finally plucked up the courage this year to take part, and I'm loving every minute of it.
And me, I first got into it in primary school. See our Glasgow rivals, Kilconnell Harps. They had trainers going round all the primaries, must have been P6 or P7. And that's how I got in. I went over with the school to play in the Failure years ago as a wee boy, and then I gave it up for a few years in my teens, and then when I was about 18, I think about 5 years ago, that's when I joined the Gaels, and that's me ever since.
A big thing we kind of get from just talking to the lads here today is, like, as much as the sporting aspect of it is important, it's kind of a big social element.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Social side's good, you know. I must admit, I haven't taken part in many social events yet, just because of work and stuff, but I'm looking forward to it.
I've been in plenty. Kind of goes hand in hand with it. But well, it's a great bunch of lads. Ever since absolutely. I joined, you know, I've always been more than welcome to go out in the beer with them, and it's a right good laugh. So it is.
I mean, from day one, you couldn't have been made more welcome to the team, you know, as basically a foreigner, shall we say, you know, in Glasgow, a foreigner, you know, but absolutely, the guys have been fantastic. The thing I've noticed more so, I've played soccer for 30 years, and is the fitness. When I first started, I did more fitness probably in my first few weeks in the Gaels than I did for any soccer team in my time. You know, it was mostly football, playing with the ball, and sort of game work. But there's a lot of emphasis in fitness, which is great. That's the reason I joined, because I mean, I had spent Christmas in Ireland and I came back with a bit of a Guinness belly, so I wanted to lose that, and it was suggested to me that I look up my local Gaelic football team when I was home, or when I was at my wife's home, and so here I am. Yeah.
I'd say the standard's pretty. Even the nature of the game, like the amount of running and stuff. Because even in my sort of teens and that, I played soccer, but Gaelic is it's a really demanding sport in terms of running compared to soccer anyway. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Though significantly popular in Ireland, Gaelic football abroad can struggle to keep numbers up, with many of the players coming and going, and a very real struggle for clubs is their ability to field teams. The reliance on outside elements for all clubs, including Gaels, is huge, namely their sponsors and the large committed team of volunteers. As men's senior manager, Jimmy Tracy explains.
Huge amount of volunteer work, and in the last sort of 18 months we've had a really excellently functioning club committee for the first time, and who'll look after various aspects. So that'll be down to our senior men's team manager, junior men's team manager, ladies manager. You'll have a fundraising committee, so there's a subcommittee who are looked after and tasked with raising cash we need through the sort of various fundraisers throughout the year. We have a chairperson who will act as a liaison between potential sponsors and ourselves to try and get little donations here and there. You're not talking very much each donation. We have one main sponsor who's extremely generous, and we would be lost without them. But again, it's down to the fundraising, the players putting their hands in their pockets, digging deep, their friends, their relatives, just contributions like that. It is more expensive for us to train and play than it would be at home, because there are very few grounds, and every time we want to use a pitch for a training session, we have to pay for it, and we have to pay the council or whoever the body is that owns the land. So we're constantly fundraising, we're constantly looking for new ways of getting cash in, so it's not predictable or bold or monotonous, or just nobody's getting any attention from it. So we take inspiration from the fact that clubs at home do this as well, and we try and replicate it, albeit on a smaller scale, but we try our best. Like, a very important part of our club is the fact that it's an open door policy to Scots. We've had a couple of English. I remember also when I first joined the club, we had a couple of Spanish people playing from the university, and they had their eyes opened. We still have a couple of Scottish. In fact, this year we have maybe 4 or 5, and Yeah, everybody's important to this club. Everybody. There was a fella who used to play for this club whenever I first came here, and he said something that has stuck with me, and I repeat it every single year, both as a player and in this role, that you'll never be more important to a club than you are over here into this club. Because at home there's so many disposable players, but here everybody's valued and treasured, and regardless of your background, you're very important to us.
You mentioned there people from different backgrounds. Like, what about yourselves? Like, how did you end up here, and specifically in Glasgow?
Like a lot of people from Ireland here, I came for work, and one of the very first things I did was straight onto the internet and googled Gaelic football in Glasgow. I originally played hurling back home, a little bit of football but not very much, or even very well, so there was no hurling here, so I had to make do with football. But as soon as I joined the club, you're plugged into a network of about 30, 40 very like-minded people, very welcoming people, and you're made to feel part of something that's really quite familiar to you already. It just becomes a home away from home, and you know, whenever you're made feel as welcome, and whenever people extend the arm of friendship as much as they do in your first months and years, you know how important it is to greet new people then too in the same fashion, and it's self-perpetuating. It keeps going. What you have in Scotland with regards to Gaelic football is probably best described as a small but very loyal bunch of followers. Each club may have coming and going 30 to 40 players in a season, but if you tie down maybe 20 of those regular, you've done really well. So with only 5 clubs in the whole entire country, it's a small group of players, probably less than 100 really truly devoted to it, but they are truly devoted to it just the same as home. This is our club, and I'm extremely proud to represent this club. I know the players are too, so it's just because it's in Scotland doesn't take anything away from it. Yeah, possibly more proud of the fact that this is our game, and we're the only people playing it.
It's hard not to be impressed by the Gaels and their club ethic. Despite being an amateur organisation, they exemplify why it is that we love sport. Welcoming all, making friends, having fun, and maybe getting a few wins along the way. Though players may come and go, Glasgow Gaels will remain. Part of the GAA, part of the community.